Right now I'm in Hebron and I'm joining with Mikhail, and he will explain us where we are and how the situation right now here. So Mikhail, thank you so much for talking to us, and please explain me where we are first.
We are in Hebron. Hebron is one of the second holiest cities in Israel. Hebron goes back, mentioned in the Bible, if I'm not mistaken, over 40 times. It is the burial place or the resting place of the forefathers of the founders of the Jewish nation, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who we mention 3 times a day in our prayers. They are buried here, but we don't see this place just as a burial place, because if you come here on a Jewish holiday, where everybody in the world goes on a holiday to a resort or a hotel or something, you'll find many people coming here happily, dancing with music. It's a place of life, because we draw from them the ability to continue in what we're supposed to do in this world, which is to bring light to the world.
So when I was coming to this area, I saw like lots of territory or lots of houses by the Arabs. So does it mean that the whole area is surrounded by the Arab, and in between this is the place, a very religious and holy place for Hebrew?
Well, not necessarily, because there are other places, neighborhoods, Jewish places, communities which live on the road. If you came here 200 years ago, if you read the writings of Mark Twain or Tristram, who was a Christian priest who traveled the land in the 18th, middle of the 18th, end of the 18th century, you would find a desolate, barren land with almost no people living here. The land was, I would say, gives out its gift to the world and to the Jewish people. Since the Jewish people came back to the land is smiling at us. And you know, when a place becomes attractive and good, then it draws people from all around. So you would find probably a very small Arab population all the way from Jerusalem to Hebron, if we go back not a long time ago.
Since you mentioned about the land, so when I was going through, I was reading that this territory is owned by so many rulers, and right now it is, since it is in West Bank, so it is under the control of Palestine Authority, or what?
Well, I tend to object to the word Palestine, not because Palestine is not a word which we would use. The Jews never left the land of Israel. The land of Israel is a godly given land to the Jewish people. We don't have a right to the land, we have an obligation to the land. To us, the Bible, we are strongly connected to, otherwise we would have gone to Uganda or somewhere else, is not a history book. It's a book which tells us how the world is supposed to function correctly, for the world to become a place of light and not darkness. And therefore we have an obligation. A person cannot turn to his God and say to him, very nice, you know, there are so many commandments, I'll keep them all, but coming back to the land is something I will give up on. Every one of us who came from outside of Israel could probably have lived a very comfortable life somewhere else in the world where they were born or where they would possibly emigrate to. So we come back to the land in order to bring redemption to the world. And therefore, Jewish people are connected to their forefathers, we're connected to the land itself, and anybody who wants to join us and create, I would say, positivity in this part of the world is welcome to. Anybody who wants to destroy us or hurt us, then unfortunately evil has to be defeated to the end.
So I can see that you are carrying the gun. So it is your normal life, or because of these incidents happened recently, so that's why, for the precaution, you are carrying the gun?
Now, first of all, to own a firearm in Israel is something which is very intricate and very scrutinized by the authorities. In other words, you'd have to have a valid reason. You have to go through medical checks, mental checks, etc., etc., etc. It has to be licensed. You are only allowed a certain amount of ammunition. It's a very, I would say, strict process. A person who owns a gun and doesn't walk around with it, in my mind, is creating an injustice, because it's for protection. It's not for hurting somebody else. It's for protecting our lives and the lives of those around us. I'm also a volunteer still in the police force, but I carry the gun in order to protect my life and the lives of others. And that is an unfortunate necessity of life, as history has taught us. You know, where Jews could not protect their lives, they lost their lives, like in 1929 in the massacres here. Therefore, I carry the gun. I am very scrutinous about using it, obviously, only in given situations. And I wish I could get rid of it because it tears my sweaters, it ruins the upholstery in the house, and I have to look after it more than, in a sense, it looks after me. But
since you have a very good knowledge about the history, you have a very good knowledge about the religious things, but what about the present? Because we saw that last 24 hours or 48 hours was very tense in this area. So how do you analyze it?
There's always, I would say, a level of tension in this area which can erupt in any given moment without pre-warning. So that's nothing new to us. In the last battle in Gaza, which is I think like 2 years ago or so, there was a lot of violence which erupted in the mixed cities within Israel, if you want to use it, Israel proper. So we have to be prepared. When you're prepared, then you are a deterrent, and then things don't happen and people don't lose their lives. And as a matter of deterrence, I carry a gun and other people carry guns. We pray to God that the world can be a peaceful place, but as we know, just about every corner of the world there are conflicts. Muslim kills Muslim in Syria, in Iraq, in Libya, just about every place else, even though they belong to the same religion. So it's something we can't really trust is not going to happen here.
So you mean to say that any moment anything happened here, and that's why you have to always alert?
Yes, as I said, there's always a certain state of awareness. You will not find this on the Arab side, but all our cars have protective windows, meaning they have either completely plastic windows or some type of protection on the inside from rocks being thrown at the cars. So that's something which is I've had in my car, I would say, for over probably like 30 years.
God.
Okay, 30 years. If you come to Hebron with a bus service, the bus is bulletproof. Okay, I don't know any other place in the world, and definitely not on the Arab side, that there are protective windows for the cars and bulletproof buses, which says something about, you know, the situation we're in and who is being the aggressor and who is being the person who is continually subject to aggression. But I want to say one thing which I think is important for people to know, and that is there are among the Arab population those who think differently. It's not two narratives. There's more than two narratives. Okay, but unfortunately those that have a narrative which is different from the general Arab narrative, they have to be very careful, because if they voice their views, they will be persecuted by the Arab authorities themselves. I want to show you something. I don't know whether your camera can pick this up. Okay. If you can see that, it says, "Mother of dead terrorists, every child wants to be a martyr." Okay? The world is crying about I'd say in a sense, the unfortunate victims in Gaza. Okay? I want to tell you something, that the terrorists who did that, I can't even call it evil, because it's more than evil act. They were probably babies in the Gaza hospitals maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago. This, by the way, is not Hamas. This is Fatah. Okay? So we know that there is ISIS, there's Hamas, there's Hezbollah, and there's no end of different organizations. To come and say Hamas is the evil and all the rest are good, I'm sorry. That is avoiding and closing, blindfolding yourself to the truth. As I said, I sit on ongoing meetings with one of the Arab dignitaries here in Hebron. We have a good relationship. My car is serviced only by an Arab garage. Okay, that shows that there is an element of trust and goodwill and living together. But the majority, unfortunately, this is Arab mothers saying they want their children to be martyrs. They love death. They say death is the highest level, in a sense, that they can reach. And we say life is the highest level we can reach. And the forces of light have to defeat the forces of darkness.
Mikhail, you know, I had visited the Be'eri, Afar Kaza, and still I feel goosebump in my body. That's such a horrible incident. We cannot speak, we cannot describe in a word. But still you are saying that still you guys are looking for peace, and that's an amazing thing. That's an amazing thing. Thank you so much for talking to me.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Mikhail. And so you can see that how the people who are living here, feel about the situation, the current situation, and at the same time what they feel about the religion and historical perspective.